Hello, in this final video number 13 we're going to build a complete financial dashboard for the Straw Hat crew using every tool from this series to answer real questions about who is spending, who is earning, and where the berries are going. So let's get started. Let me delete this text. So I already dragged and dropped a CSV, which is a crew ledger, and has columns with dates, name, category, and type of if it's an expense or an income. And then a little redundant because the amounts are negative when it's expenses and positive when it's an income. So that's nice, no? And then a brief description of the expense or the income. And as you can see, we have almost like 70 rows. So let's get started. Let's bring it into Pandas. So we are import pandas as PD, and then we are gonna this is a new one for this series, but it's a dictionary used to do graphs or plots. Read crew. And then because our date is text, we're gonna from the get-go change it to a date time object so we can work with it. To date time. And we saw this on the last video. Let's look at it. Data frame. And here it is now in. So this is already a little summary. We got 69 rows and 6 columns. So let's start exploring this. Let's do info and 69 entries, data columns, and as we can see now, our date column is a date time object. The rest, these three are text, and the amount is our numerical one. It's integers. 69 non-null, which means we do not have empty cells. Now let's another useful one, the f dot, and this works with the numerical ones because it gives us how many, our count, how many rows, and the mean, and the 50% is the average of the expense. This is the average, this is the mean. Percentiles, I don't know how these are called, at the 25th, at the 25. This is the max. This was an income. And our standard deviation. All right, so let's keep exploring our data set. We saw this dot unique function in one of the videos because it's a nice way to figure out how many different unique data we have on a column. So for example, on the column name, how many unique, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's print crew members. So we have a nice printout of the info, and then categories. We also want to see how many categories, how many different categories we have. We already did names. Now let's look at categories. And then let me just copy paste this. And here, category. And now let's look at our date column. Let's find out how many months. No, let's first let's do that. Print so it's the F. No, it's df date. Yes, date dot mean. Yes, so mean date, comma, and then comma max 2, and then let me copy this because I am too lazy to type. So from month 1 to the end of month 5, so 5 months worth of data. Now let's do the F type. Type. Let's see how many. Let's see if just expense and income. Unique. Yeah, only expense and income. We also saw this, right? So we get a series with the type being the index and the count amount value. We can send it to a dict. And this is a dictionary with a key value pair. Python, regular Python dictionary. This toDict converts that to this. Cool, right? All right. So first question. No, as a comment. What is each crew member net balance? All right. So let's create a new dataset. Per person is equal to our group by returns, group by only name, and we're gonna do stuff to the amount column, we're gonna do a sum. And then sort values. And then we are gonna print net per person data frame. So ascending equals fall. So descending. Go. So only Nami is in the green. The rest of them are on the red. So let's do a graph, and we are gonna introduce some syntax that you only know it by Googling it, right? So what kind of plot? Bar horizontal. So our dot plot function takes these arguments, or takes some arguments. Net balance per crew member. Some are self-explanatory. Net per person. Lambda. So if x is greater than 0, so this is an anonymous function, right? And then let me check. And if it's negative, we're gonna do tomato color. How about that? Okay. PLT X label. Our currency here is berries. XV line 0, comma, color equal to. And again, this is just Googling. I invite you to Google how to plot stuff. I'm not doing this by memory. I have it here on the side because I have to look this stuff up. Let's run. And here we go. A nice little tomato color horizontal bar if it is negative, and a nice green bar for our positive berries. Did you like it? So now this makes a little bit more sense, right? This lambda function is applying either green or red color, depending whether it's positive or negative, and then this plot functions, well, this one applies berries to the name of the graph. I guess the X vertical line, I don't know, this AXV line adds a vertical line at 0, color black. So this little I guess like if we omit it, it does not draw that vertical line, right? So anyways, you can research this. Let's move on. So we group by name only. So let's group by two things. Now let's group by, and then to group by more than one, we pass a list name, comma, type. And then what do we group? And again, there's a whole video on the group by. We're gonna do some on the amount. Let's run this. So here we go. Groups all the expenses or income of Luffy, but in this case, he only has expenses. And then Nami has expenses and income. So everybody only has expenses except Nami and Zoro. So I am curious. So DF, let's filter DF where what? DF name is equal to Zoro and no dollar sign. Ampersand is this and DF why don't you tell me about these mistakes? Equals Zoro and DF type is equal to income, and then we need parentheses because of this and, right? Remember the video? Let's run this. No. Let's try each in parentheses. Yeah, that was it. So income bought sack after winning duel. So this is why we need to clean up these data sets, right? It's a bot and it's as an income. Well, maybe he won the duel and won some money, I don't know. Because his income is one dual prize money. So maybe this should be negative, right? Okay, let's continue. Let's answer another question. What is each category? What are each category's expenses? So category net is equal to our famous, you guessed it, group by. And what are we grouping by? Category. And then amount category net. Let's sort by. So the biggest expense on the crew is food, because Luffy eats a lot of meat. Just for good measure, I will category and type. Yeah, food and expense, and then navigation expenses, but then navigation income has a positive. All right. Let me return this as how it was. To do another plot. Let me run all for good measure. So our category net is this series. So let's do another plot, and category net dot p, and then bar horizontal, net Paris by category, comma, and then our lambda function, category net. What do we apply? A function, a lambda function, which means function with no name. Lambda x C green if x is greater than 0, else tomato. And then let me just copy paste from the last time, right? Lamb, perhaps you forgot no, I forgot lamb. It's lambda, not lambda, it's lambda. All right. Net varies by category. All right. Moving on. What is each crew member spending on? Right. Now let's do expenses only, and then let's filter our data frame with the F. Type is equal to expense. So we don't have the incomes. Let's look at it. Expenses only. And here it is. Expenses for, and remember we could have done this. So only 5. All right, expense, expense, expense. So let's do a pivot table. And pivots, pivot, to make them remember from like 2 videos ago, expenses, only data frame as an argument, and then what are gonna be the values? Well, values, and then index name, then columns, category. So, and the agfunc is gonna be sum. And then we need a fill value for when there is no data to fill it with 0. Let's look at it. And we get an error. Key error. Key error values. The column name is amount. All right, let's run this again. Crossing fingers. And here we go. So these pivot tables are like the same thing of a group by with a list of two columns. First we group by name and then we group by category. But each category it expands it wide. And let's do it. Let's do it so we can look at it. So we need the expenses only table, data frame. And then we group by and then we group by 2 things, name and then category. And then we do the, no, not parentheses, the grouping by on the amount column, and we do a sum. And like this, here, we get a table where, let me print it before, because I like how it looks better. Here. So let's look at the data. Luffy, on the category food, this was his expenses, which is exactly the same as this. And then on other, minus 800. And then minus 1700 on repairs. And then Nami is 14,000 on navigation. So this group by 2 things is exactly the same data as the pivot table. But the pivot table expands the category and converts this into columns, and all of them. And then it fills out the 0 where there is no data, like all of these zeros. Like these only 3 categories out of 5, Nami only 1 out of 5. So it fills zeros where there is no data. So hope this makes sense. All right, let's graph it. So let's pivot. So this is our pivot table. Let's pivot dot plot, and then this time it's gonna be a bar. Again, Google these things because by memory I do not know any of this. Expenses per person per category. All right though. Plot Y label is varies. If it's giving you headaches, that sometimes I do not use uppercase. I am sorry. I'm too lazy to click the shift. Layout. Tight layout. We don't want the loose layout. We want the tight one. plt.show. Do you think I have any mistakes? Oh, wow. Miracle. So this start from the top down because it goes to the negatives. Do you like it like this? I don't know if I do. So then, with the magic of our AI, I just said, hey, make me a nicer plot. Hey, chat thingy. And then, whoops, copy paste. Boom. Nicer, no? So for these things, yeah, it's nice to have AI assisting because unless you are an expert on this plot, anyways, let's continue. All right, so now how does the cruise net balance change month by month? Well, let's find out. Let's do we had the reshape, but let's do the month num. Remember where we could do the index as the date and then do the reshape one, but let's do it kind of like a long way. The reshape is on the other video, so but let's df date month. So we extract the month number for the sorting purposes, and then df month. So we get a string if we apply the oops, almost a syntax error here. Equal df date dot dt dot month, and this is a built-in function. Month, the built-in dt function or date time. Let's create monthly data frame is equal to our full data frame. Let's first look at the full data frame. here we go, these two columns. So let's create a let's create a data frame. Monthly is equal to df group by, and then what do we group by? Well, and then this little trick. Because the month name and it's 1 for 1, and then the sum. Let's see it. Month num, month name. So we have a double index. The group by met makes a double index like this. So let's rerun this, but let's dot reset index. So our group by does not do a thing. So we have a regular good old-fashioned number index column, and month number and month name are columns. So every month is negative: January, February, March, and it grows, and then it grows more, and then it gets a little less big. So maybe some income here, and then again more bigger. So let's plot this. I'm just gonna copy paste the parameters and the arguments and the plot thingies, so you don't see me type all this. So X is the month name, amount is the Y, it's a bar chart, net crew balance per month, color tomato, because it's all negative. So let's see it. And here we go. Again, this is on the negative side. That's why they are all down, facing down. Okay. Next question. How does the crew combined balance accumulate over time? So let's go. The F sorted is equal to the F dot sorted, sort values, date, reset, so this is, we saw this on the last video. This is to make sure our table is sorted. We make sure it is sorted by date. Balance is equal to the F amount and the cumulative sum. And let's look at it. The F sorted head. So this is the running balance. So the original is the same, and then it subtracts 500 to this negative number, so it's an even bigger depth or bigger negative, then subtracts this, so it's a bigger negative, then adds 3000, so it's less of a negative, and here we go, no? So now let's plot this running balance. Again, I'm gonna do some copy paste magic. So this time the x-axis is the date, the y-axis is the running balance, and it's a line chart. The title is Crew Running Balance Over Time, color, and then some parameters, right? Let's run this. And looks like my personal finance. Oops. All right, let's move on. This is too sad. Looks like my bank account. All right, another question. What does a typical transaction look like? So another copy paste, because we are gonna plot the amount column from the original data frame, and this time the kind is a histogram with the bins set to a 15 berries amount, distribution of transaction amounts, color, edge color. The X label is the amount in berries, and the Y is the number of transactions. So this is a histogram. Let's look at it. And we have the majority of the transactions like in the negative 1000. So is this a normal graph? A couple of outliers. So this is the Nami selling some graphs or stuff, the positive ones. So this one is nice, no? So again, so you can Google how to do this one. If you didn't know already, it's a histogram. Hist is a short, but it's histogram. Okay. So now that we are on it, I'm sorry for all the copy pasting, but these ones are too long to type. So this is another one. One histogram per person. And df.hist. Let's go. Boom. One histogram per person. Luffy's transactions are all in the negatives. Nami has positives and negatives. Sanji's, well, he buys the food, right? I don't know. And Zoro, as we saw, he did a bet or something, and then use up all expenses. So did you like it? So that's it for this video. we did some kind of real work done on a fake One Piece expenses and income, One Piece ledger, crew ledger. So hope you enjoyed it. This will be the final video for this series. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on the next series. Bye bye.